What's going on, guys? Jason here. Hope you're doing well. Continuing the video series, we're going to talk a little bit more about conflated terms and what have we to provide evidence thereof. Well, so today I stumbled across a story. There's a man in Georgia whose healthcare plan costs him about $700 and change every month, which is already completely ridiculous in my opinion. But he's being notified that his plan, if he plans to stay on it, is going to go to $1,800 and some odd dollars. Well, this, of course, is due to the Obamacare disaster, which has created all kinds of monopoly in the insurance space. If you've been following business at all, you'll know that there's been more M&A activity. And for those of you who don't know what that is, it's merger and acquisition activity in the healthcare space than in any other space in business in the last few years. This was a travesty written by insurance companies for insurance companies and supported by the very government that claims to have your back. So that's kind of what's going on. But if you can get aside all of that and look at the term healthcare, we haven't really, completely defined what healthcare is. Is going to the doctor healthcare, in your opinion? Well, if you look up the definition of health, it's simply described in its most basic sense as an absence of disease or an absence of ailment, both physically and mentally. So that has really nothing to do with going to the doctor and receiving medical care, which is a completely different thing. And if you think about these two terms, they're very different. Now, what is healthcare? Healthcare is what we do in this room right here. It's how we move, it's how we care for our bodies. It is what we put in our bodies. It's how we rest. It's how we meditate. It's how we think. It's all the things that we do during the course of the day to make sure that our body is operating at its optimal capacity. That is healthcare. And yes, you have a right to that because it doesn't infringe on someone else's right. Okay? So you own your body, especially if you are a libertarian, you understand that. You understand the origin of property rights. You own your body. And what you do for yourself is, in fact, healthcare when it provides you an absence of disease, both mentally or physically. Moving certainly does that. Rest certainly does that. What you do behind the plate will certainly do that. It's been proven many, many times that food is medicine. It's the best medicine. And if you want a great story, I'd look up Dr. Walls. She's got a great TED Talk. Check it out and see how she's overcome some extreme neuromuscular disabilities just by feeding herself properly. On the flip side of that, you've got medical care, which is what everyone is referring to as healthcare. Medical care means you're going somewhere to receive a service. You're going to receive the service and you're going to send the bill. If you don't want to pay for it or you can't pay for it, the bill gets sent to somewhere else. Well, somewhere down the road that bill has to get paid. That means that this cannot be a right because you're claiming a portion of someone else's life. So if I go to a doctor and I say, hey, you know what, I've got a really bad sprain in my ankle, or I had I fell off my skateboard and my elbow's killing me, or whatever the case may be, I'm asking him to service me because I did some damage to myself. He takes time out of his day, uses his equipment, his medicine to care for me. All of that stuff requires an expense. The guy can't work for free. The medicines and the supplies that he uses are not manufactured from thin air. They require an expense. Okay? Therefore, healthcare cannot be a right unless I feel like it's moral for me to claim a portion of this man's life or anyone's life who went in the process of creating their income, created the instruments or the medicine that I use to care for myself. Because again, someone has to bear the cost. So what's happening is the cost is being borne by people who are quote unquote able to afford it according to someone else. Okay, and that is completely amoral. All right? If you wouldn't go to your neighbor and take from them, then you can't support something, a third party that would do the same thing on your behalf. And that's basically what's happening, guys. So again, conflation of terms. North America, we don't like to hear the truth, but the truth is healthcare is not a right. Okay? As you understand it. Healthcare, what you do for yourself to care for your body, that is your right. You have complete control over what you put in it, how you rest it, how you work it. When you go and claim a service from somewhere else, from someone else, that is not your right. Simple as that. Have a good day, guys.